Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's Daryl here. It's 6 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. And I want to talk about why I believe Donald Trump is losing a lot of senior citizen votes. All right, let's start with him getting how he came to have all these baby boomer, these older generation votes. I think because he's older. I think because he sold himself back in 2016. He sold himself as something different, non-politician, somebody that speaks the truth. I think a lot of them. I mean, I hate to say this, but I really think a lot of them fell for that. That there was this person that was kind of like the anti-politician. I think he tricked a lot of people with that. A very narcissistic, arrogant person was the reality of it. But he shined that up and sold it as, draining the swamp and being against the politicians. And he sold it well. I think a lot of them fell for it. Now, here's another thing, too, is a lot of people in that generation, 60s, 70s, 80s, aren't very internet savvy. So they were interested in this person, and they locked on to something like Fox News or Trump's Twitter feed. They'd find one or two internet accesses that would tell them about Donald Trump, and that's where they stopped. They don't feel comfortable. These are things that I see in people around me. So it's not easy for them, but they found one or two internet accesses that gave them daily information on Donald Trump, and they were happy with that, and they stopped there. They didn't do any fact searching, looking for alternative opinions or anything like that. And they got what they call this, let's call it back, these feedback loops or whatever you want to call it, echo chambers. And they got more and more convinced. Again, I think because they didn't go out of that little bubble, their little bubble of the internet. I believe that's how it started. Also, a lot of these people grew up in the 50s and just have that more of a racist attitude, to be honest with you guys. More sexist, racist attitude to life, to America. And that's the truth of it. A lot of them are scared. A lot of the people over 70 are scared of white people becoming a minority. That's the truth of it. That's the ugly truth of it. All right, now why Trump is losing these votes now? Like I said, they are not internet savvy. So they hear all this stuff about, this is fake news, this is witch hunts. And since they're just locked into Fox News and these one or two sources, they believe it. They don't have anything to show them evidence, any fact checking to show them contrary. They're not going to, it takes them time to learn how to find these other things, and they're not willing to spend that time. So they're happy just getting their feed. It's probably not even intentional, but they're being slowly, I hate to use the term, brainwashed further and further by these echo chambers. Right? So even when Trump not paying taxes came along, or Trump bad-mouthing vets, that wasn't something that really affected them directly. And they just wrote it off to fake news or whatever. And there was just one thing after the other. Stormy Daniels. There's dozens. It was like it's a weekly thing with Donald Trump, or daily thing of what he's lied about, or what he screwed up, or what he's misrepresented. And they didn't really bother to look to find the truth on any of these things until coronavirus. And even then, but then it took Donald Trump getting sick. And the people around me, the people I know, the older people I know, are very concerned about this. I think a lot of it has to do. A lot of the deaths here in Connecticut were in nursing homes where people, this is a terrible thing, where a lot of these people just died alone. Their families weren't allowed to come in and see them. It was a horrible way to go. To just be completely alone and quarantined in one of these nursing homes. And that's where the majority of these deaths occurred, like here in Connecticut. And it rightly scared the hell out of a lot of seniors. It's not something, it's something they wish to avoid at all costs. I think a lot of the seniors I know aren't. They're not especially afraid of dying. They know they think they lived a good life. They're not especially afraid of dying, but think these are just my opinions, but I think that there's a couple things that really scares them about coronavirus, not being able to breathe, and the nursing homes and being cut off from family. I think that really scared them. And that, I think, was enough to force them to go out of their loop and to find other opinions, to find the fact checkers for the first time. And what did they find? They found Donald Trump being foolish and reckless. And, he was being the very thing that they feared. Just having no concern for other people. It's one thing wanting your freedom and your independence and your constitutional rights to not wear a mask, but it's not your God-given right to endanger other people or the whole nation, by promoting this maskless stupidity. And I really believe it was the first time that a lot of these seniors' eyes really opened up. It gave them the incentive to learn how to search on the internet, to look for more info for the first time. Fact checking, and the real facts, instead of just going with what Fox News was saying, what Trump's Twitter feed was saying. And I think the more they saw, the more they disliked, and I think it keeps building, honestly, every day with the way he's acting. Just being so nonchalant about something that seriously scares them a lot, and it's something very personal to them. It affects. It's probably the most personal thing that that's come up in the last 4 years that's very personal to the seniors that supported Trump. And I think it was something that opened their eyes. And the more they see his nonchalance, and then his attitude, I'll go out there and kiss everybody in the audience. Man, I'll tell you what, that turned off a lot of older Trump supporters I know, just more and more. His nonchalance, even saying that he's going to kiss the guys in the audience. There's a lot of men in in their 70s that just don't find that amusing. Like I said in the video yesterday, I'm cool with all that stuff, but there's a lot of men, older generations that aren't all that cool with stuff like that. Men are men, men are men, women are women, and all that. And he's just, from my point of view, he's just digging himself a deeper pit. I'll say pit, so for the censoring of this video. But I think that's it. I do, and I don't see how he'll be able to get these votes back. This is the one thing in the last 4 years that these senior voters take very seriously, and they are not happy with the way Trump has handled it, and especially not happy with the way he's handled his own sickness. And they can see, they've researched, they know enough to see that he is getting treatment that they would never get. And that's just one more thing that's making them see that this isn't fair, this isn't truth, this is bull. And I think it's turning off a lot of seniors. He's hemorrhaging senior voters. That's my opinion on this. All right, I'll be back with some more videos. I want to talk about Amy Coney Barrett. I watched a lot of that confirmation hearing yesterday. I'd really like to talk about that too. All right, you guys have a good Wednesday. I'll be back later.